Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
From me and Lucy, we are this week preparing a sukkah. Why? Because tonight, when the sun sets, as we're recording this, we will enter into the feast of Sukkot. Tabernacles?
Yeah.
Yeah? So, you want to see what Tabernacles is all about? Let's have a look.
I'm in charge of making the paper chain.
Great, our sukkah. So we've got all sorts of crafty things. Okay.
Come here. I think I'm starting on my paper chain. Sorry. No.
Well, we can go hang these out and look on the feeder. What happens?
Pop over that
Shalom, everybody, from our sukkah.
Shalom.
one. Shalom.
What's a sukkah? What's a sukkah, Izzy?
Well, it's like a little house.
Like a little house.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a tent. It's like a tent that we made. It's a temporary dwelling or a hastily put together dwelling, and we've hastily put ours together in the last few days, or we did it the day just before Sukkot. Just the day before the sun went down.
Sukkot is otherwise known as the Feast of Tabernacles.
Feast of Tabernacles.
And it's the seventh and final feast.
It's used to remember the hut, or the Sukkot, plural, that Israel lived in during their 40 years. So we call this a sukkah because it's one. The Sukkot is many. In the wilderness, after the exodus from Egypt, the Israelites lived in Sukkot in the desert.
It lasts for 7 days.
7-day holiday. It's described in Leviticus 23, the last described feast of the Lord. King Solomon is said to have dedicated the temple during the festival of Sukkot.
Sukkot is a time of rejoicing. It's a time of happiness, a time of family and yummy food. And it's the time when we are celebrating all that the Lord has done for us.
Yes, it's immediately after Yom Teruah, which is the Feast of Trumpet, and Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Fasting and Atonement. So, we know that so many things happen with the announcement of trumpets. We know that Jesus is going to come again. Yeshua is going to come with the sound of a trumpet. Once the trumpet sounds, and he comes and he takes his place as on the throne in Jerusalem as King of the world, he will make atonement, national atonement. And then when he comes with us, so following Yom Kippur is Sukkot, which is where he will tabernacle with us. And we will rejoice. Because it is a foreshadow of things to come. Why the law? Why do we go through all of this? Hebrews 10 says, the old system under the law of Moses, remember law could be better translated instruction, was only a shadow, a dim preview of the good things to come, not the good things themselves. So what are the Jewish feasts all about? Well, we call them, they're not Jewish feasts, they're feasts of the Lord. And they are a foreshadow of the things to come. God has given us in his word this shadow or this understanding of that, which is still to come. And what we love and are learning to engage with the Jewish culture in is the way they celebrate these feasts. Because there is so much of God's story and revelation of that which is still to come in the observance and these traditions, these biblical mandates even that are given to us.
In Deuteronomy it talks about Sukkot. In Deuteronomy chapter 16 verses 13 to 15 it says, you will keep the feast of Sukkot 7 days when you have gathered in the produce, so after the harvest. You shall rejoice in your feast, because the Lord your God will bless you in all of your produce and in all the work of your hands, so that you will be altogether joyful. So it's a mitzvah or a command to be joyful and to dwell in your sukkah and to be happy and enjoy good food. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, which is why hospitality, inviting people to your sukkah, having barbecues, fellowship meals, singing.
We were at friend's house for Erev Sukkot, which is the evening before Sukkot starts, when the sun goes down and the holiday starts.
Yep.
We had lots of fun there. They'd put their sukkah up on the roof, and we had a barbecue, a grill.
Yep. It was great. Leviticus 23. 3 verse 40, it specifically says, on the first day gather branches from magnificent trees, palm fronds, boughs from leafy trees, and willows that grow by the streams. So it actually only gives these 3. We didn't go through the fancy process of that. We just printed one out. This is our lalav. We also
it's pretty easy
we also
to get
have this one, which has many lalav in it.
Israel.
So here is our wave offering. They wave the lalav. 6 directions. Left, right, forward, backwards, up and down. Why? It's the all surrounding, in all directions, all surrounding presence of God.
We have to make ourselves happy.
Happy, which is why we sing. Should we sing again?
You're commanded to rejoice.
Yeah?
And so...
Okay, we got a song. You ready? Hodu Adonai ki tov, ki leolam chasto. Hodu Adonai ki tov, ki leolam chasto. Hodu, 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 hodu Adonai ki tov. Hodu, 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 hodu Adonai ki tov. Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good; His mercies endure forever.
Forever.
Good singing.
Forever.
Good singing, guys. All right, that's rejoicing in the sukkah, right there.
Something else that's really cool about Sukkot, and it's in quite a lot of the feasts actually, is giving. Because it's a time of great thanksgiving to God for His provision, you give charity to those in need. And so, people do a lot of giving, and they do a lot of hosting and giving of food and all that sort of thing.
People are pretty generous around Sukkot, which is pretty awesome. Yeah. And reading our Bible stories, which we're doing in the sukkah, because dwelling in the sukkah is a big part of the feast. So once you've made the sukkah, then there's dwelling in it. What does that mean? It means we come out and we have our breakfast outside here, and we have our Bible stories and our coffee in the morning. Did you know that there was a temple light show during Sukkot? So the Levites would sing and play music, and because everybody was commanded to, all the able-bodied males would make their journey to Jerusalem, there was this light show that they would put on. So I just always imagined the temple priests to be quite dry and boring, I guess, but it's written, and in historical documents and in Jewish writings, that they would do these songs and dancing with fire
every night
during Sukkot. So
and all throughout the night.
Yeah.
They were all-night parties.
So that's kind of cool. I mean, I don't know if you've ever imagined a Levite priest in his long robes and doing his slow and very careful and holy work. Did you imagine them singing and dancing with fire?
Apparently, it's written that these festivities and these shows were so spectacular that Jewish sages have said, and it's been written, that he who has not seen the rejoicing at Sukkot had never seen rejoicing in his life. So if you haven't seen the light show at the temple during Sukkot, you haven't lived.
There are some amazing light shows to be seen in Jerusalem, by the way. If you haven't seen the light shows in Jerusalem, they're fantastic. Then there is the question, where is Yeshua in all of this? Where is Yeshua? Where is Jesus in Sukkot? So the short story is, Feast of Tabernacles, Sukkot, is a foreshadow of the things to come, of the return of the Messiah, return of Yeshua HaMashiach, Yeshua, Jesus the Messiah.
He's coming again.
All nations will come. It's really exciting to see nations coming from all over the world to Jerusalem at the moment. In fact, I had to pick a volunteer up from the airport for the Aliyah Return Centre, and there was nations coming. I could see the Fijians coming through. There was a whole lot of those guys coming through, so it was awesome to see the South Pacific represented. And I know that New Zealand has huge teams here for the feast,
Yep.
and from all over the world. In the end, that in the last days, all nations that have survived will come to Jerusalem to worship Jesus, King of Kings, as he reigns from his throne in Jerusalem. In the meantime, we eagerly await his return. Bye, everybody, from our sukkah.
Bye-bye from our sukkah.
Oh do, Adonai Kitov. Oh do, Adonai Kitov.